Fountain Pen Shootout. Alright. Today we'll have a look at two pens, and the reason I picked these two pens for Shootout is that both of these are fairly affordable. We're talking about a Conklin Duragraph, about $44, and a Monteverde Intima, aka Intima, aka the pink pen. And this one is about $56. Now, these two pens are, why did I pick them? Because clearly they don't really look alike, except they both have black ends, but that's, you know, that's one thing. Both of these pens were sent over by the Goulet Pen Company for review purposes. And the reason I picked them for Shootout is that they both have italic nibs. And I get a lot of questions about italic nibs. Where do I get them? Can I get them on inexpensive pens? Well, not every manufacturer offers the option, but these two do, and both of these are under $60. So it is, I know that's not cheap, but it's not $700 either. So it's relatively affordable. I've reviewed both of these pens separately, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but let's start with that Duragraph. Simple pen, modern Conklin. I have pointed out some things that I didn't like too much in the video, like this weird posting, not the tightest tolerances in the world the way it was produced, but number 6 nib with a stub option like this. It's 1.1mm stub, has a converter, has everything it needs, and I don't think it looks horrible. The material is quite nice, so you get a decent, larger pen, and you have that stub option. The Intima is smaller. This is definitely a smaller pen, also of course in this finish very girly, but it's nice, a very girly model, smaller, and especially with this color. And also a 1.1mm stub in a very cool black stealth nib finish, but I really like it. Now, both of these pens have nibs that perform well. I think they're both nice writers, and if you're in the market for not too expensive italic nib, I think you could do a lot worse than try these out. You can also see that the sections, I mean, there are definitely some commonalities. Which would I recommend for what person? I feel like a slightly bigger pen. The Duragraph is nice. If you have somewhat smaller hands, I think the Intima will be nicer, but both have nice sections that are quite thin, so I don't think, I mean, no matter what your hand size is, I think you'll probably be able to get along well with either of these pens. Personally, I prefer the Intima a little bit in the way it's made, put together, and the way it looks. I think this is very blocky. I think this is a little bit more pleasant on the eye. But both are cute pens, and both are fun pens to play around with. So I don't think there is that much more to say about them. I think what we need to do is move on to a writing sample. That's what I'm going to do next. On the website will be high-resolution pictures of the pens, and that's all there's to it. I hope this was useful, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go. First with this Conklin Duragraph with the 1.1mm stub italic. I find this more of a stub than an italic. Ink is St. Dupont Royal Blue. Monteverde Intima, also 1.1mm stub. Do a bit of writing. Skip. Wetness is about right, nice and wet, but if you apply a little bit of pressure, you get railroading very quickly on this pen. However, it is a nice stub, and nice stubs always allow for fascinating stuff. It's one of the strangest T's I've ever written. You could use it for calligraphy purposes. Which can be fun. Of course, I was doing that very quickly, but just to give you an idea. Now we have the Intima. Nib is a little less smooth, and I think that's because of the plating they do on the nib to make it black. It typically destroys the smoothness just a little bit. But still a smooth writer, it's just not as smooth as the Conklin. Wetness, I would say it's about on par with the Conklin. Line variation, as you push down, you see it has a much more consistent flow, which I enjoy. So for smoothness, I would pick the Conklin. For excellent flow, I would pick the Monteverde. So it just depends on what you value more. You're probably not going to push down this hard on an italic, or in this case a stub anyway. This one too, of course, suited. What am I doing? I'm mixing all my calligraphy styles here. It's really weird. Well suited for small type calligraphy, but a lot of fun. So there you have it, 2 affordable italic nibbed pens. Thanks to Goulet Pen Company for sending me this. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'm glad to see you later.